down in front.
I'm going to start the presentation with an inspiring quote from a known author. It says like this: watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. I think this is a very important, inspiring quote in terms of communication from the public relations and marketing, establishing good relationship with the media. Good afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Taylor, for allowing us to give this opportunity to make this short presentation. We have today Ms. Kathy Barnstorff from NASA, Langley. Ms. Kathy Barnstorff is the lead public affairs specialist for all Langley aeronautics research programs. She implements comprehensive public affairs, media relations efforts, coordinates news conference and other media events. Before joining NASA in 1999, Ms. Barnstorff was an anchor and news reporter for WBEC Channel 13. She also produced news specials including half-hour quarterly health science documentaries. Her career as a media professional also includes stints with WPBC TV in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and in Iowa. Among her awards are the 2005 NASA Exceptional Service Medal, numerous NASA Superior Accomplishment Awards, and several Group Achievement Awards. Let me introduce Ms. Kathy Barnstorff.
Well, thank you all. I'm glad to be here today. I really probably don't need this microphone, but eventually I will be playing a movie here, so you'll be able to hear it a little bit better. I work for the Office of Strategic Communications and Education at NASA Langley, as you can tell by the slide. We cover both education and media relations and government affairs. First, a little bit about NASA Langley. As many of you all know, if you happen to come to our open house on Saturday, we were founded in 1917. We're the first civilian aeronautics laboratory in the country. We have about 3,600 employees, more than 800 acres of land, not far from you all, 200 buildings, and we contribute about $2.3 billion to the economy. We do a lot of research in aeronautics, in space, in earth science, and also in technology transfer. We're helping to make planes safer and more efficient. We're helping to send men and women back to the moon and on to Mars and beyond. And we're also helping to help better understand climate change. This is a little bit about us. This is our expertise in the Strategic Communications and Education Office. We cover news, media, government relations, public outreach, internal communications, university affairs. In fact, Denise used to work with us at NASA Langley. Informal education, K-12, distance learning, and special events like the open house last weekend. We can also, if we want to come to your Thomas Nelson Community College sometime, we can have a speakers bureau, we have protocol and special events, and of course we also do freedom of information. When the news media wants something that legally they are allowed to have, they will come to our office. In communications, we do government relations, we do news media, that happens to be my specialty, and internal communications, the research and news, and other things for our employees. And we can have all sorts of things that we give to people. In fact, I brought you all a little something special. Each of you will get this little stress reliever. We know you're with the community college system, you probably have a little bit of stress. So here's an Orion capsule. This is what our next generation of space vehicles will look like. Obviously a little larger. And I brought one of these for each of you today so that you can, Dr. Taylor? No. Oh yes, we love Dr. Taylor. Yes. So, and we also are in charge of conference facilities in NASA Langley. But enough about us. Let's talk a little bit about you. Okay, first of all, here's a little interview situation some of you all may recognize if you were around in 1975. I have to find my cursor first. There we go. Well, obviously that was a sitcom and that was not real life, but there are probably times that you may face some similar situations when you're dealing with the media. And I don't like to really say deal with media. I was a reporter for more than 22 years before I came to NASA. I like to say, and there are people say handle the media, I like to say work with the media because it really is a two-way street. Without you, news has nothing. But you have no media without them. You have no publicity without them in many instances, unless of course you pay for advertising, and that's something that you all can do. Let me ask a few of you, how many of you have faced an interview situation like that before? Or any interview situation? Okay. So, now Cindy, you're a professional, so I don't think you count yet. So, over there, now when you did an interview, what was the subject matter? Yeah.
The role of the community college.
And how did you feel it went?
I'm sorry.
How did you feel that the interview went?
Well, never had any training. I thought I did okay. It was reasonably reported out and taken to.
So it was relatively accurate.
Pretty much.
Well, that's one thing that reporters will tell you that they really want to do. Reporters, by and large, they're really not out to get you in most instances. They're really just out to get a story and as quickly as possible. What do reporters really want? And I know that you all at TNCC, when we said that we were going to be coming here today, this is the kind of publicity you all want, right? New photo lab at TNCC, local newspaper, get you more students, whatever else. That's the kind of publicity you want. And of course, recently, unfortunately, this is the kind of publicity you don't want. Tight-lipped about an incident that may or may not have happened here at the college. So, how can you help reporters do their jobs better? And that's the bottom line, unfortunately, for all of you, is that everything has gotten so fast-paced now within the news business, is that it behooves all of us who want to have relatively accurate reporting to help the news media do their job. And of course, the best thing you do is you talk to Cecilia, Marisa, Belinda. That's the first thing you do. But let me show you what reporters want. This is what reporters want. And this was last week at NASA Langley. Thankfully, before the open house, I managed to con Joe Flanagan into coming to do Joe's job, which meant, of course, I got to wake up at 4:45 in the morning, and so did a couple of other people to open the building for Joe. But we got a great spot on Joe's job on 13 News on daybreak. But what reporters want, they want access, they want speed. When I was a reporter, and most reporters will tell you, at 9 o'clock that morning, I had no idea what I was doing at 6 o'clock that night in most instances. I would come in, and people would say, well, what's news today? Sometimes we'd know there was a court case or something else we knew we had to cover. But in most instances, I had no idea. So that meant I had to call somebody, okay, let's do an education story. I had to call somebody like Cecilia or Marisa and say, please, I need a professor. I need this, can you get it? And I need it by noon, or before noon if I have to do a noon live shot. The daily press, the local papers have a little bit more time, but now with the web, they're running in the same 24-hour news cycle that I face in television. So they want access, speed, accuracy, proof. They don't just want, okay, TNCC is the best community college in the state. Well, that may or may not be true, but if it's true, how do you prove it? So make sure they know that. Quotes or sound bites. Sound bites are those little bitty tiny, interview cuts that you see on the news. And visuals, of course. Especially even now, it's getting worse as far as visuals are concerned, because not just television who wants them, it's newspapers as well, because newspapers are starting to do television in some way. In fact, when I went to NASA Langley, I had said that I loved covering NASA Langley when I was a reporter, because we do such cool stuff that I was thrilled to be there. But I'd get there and they'd show me like a box. It was a cool box and great technology, but I'm like, well, okay, how did we get to this box? Because I can't show a box on the news that night. And that's all it is. If you can show me the box being tested in the lab, if you can show me the lab setting, or you can show me where the box is going to go, that makes a television story. A box doesn't make a television story. And what reporters don't want, lies or deceptions. I will tell you, as a reporter, that was the one thing. Reporters are human too, even though you may not believe it. If you lied, all bets are off. That was my theory. If you told me you couldn't tell me, I could live with that. If you told me, I don't know, but I'll get back to you, I could live with that. If you lied to me, then I am coming after you. Because I'm human too. And I'm just trying to, and I didn't, thankfully not many people did that to me. Because, it doesn't make for long relationships when you've covered an area like 19 years like I did. Stonewalling, you can't tell me, blather too much. And I bet you guys are occasionally guilty of this. Who in this room might be guilty of a little education speak? Instead of, see, now he's already, and he admits it too, very good. Little education speak, not a good thing. That would be considered overload, too much information, especially for television. And I'm talking a lot about television today because, as I've said, everything has turned into television almost these days. It's whether you like it or not. And as I get older, I'm not liking it so much, but it's all visual. It's a lot of recorded spoken word and generalizations and exaggerations. Not good. So, how do you make sure that you give the best picture possible of Thomas Nelson Community College? You prepare. And you all already know that, because you wouldn't go into a classroom or you wouldn't go to your job without preparing first. It just wouldn't happen. So preparation is key. Check out the reporter. Oh, first of all, always, I'm going to repeat this probably 15 times, work with your public relations office. And they can check out the reporter first, too, if you don't know. I mean, if you get a cold call from a reporter, the first thing I always tell my guys to do is call me. And it's not because I want to censor them or anything else, it's because I want to help them. It might not be convenient when the reporter is calling. He might be in the middle of he or she might be in the middle of some kind of project that they're on total deadline, and they're like all frazzled. I mean, I can help set up an appropriate time for an interview. I can help, okay, do you need pictures? Do you need visuals? If you work with me as a public relations professional, it'll make your life easier. If you work with Cecilia, Maritza, Cindy, it'll make your lives easier. And that's what they're here for, or Belinda too. So check out the reporter though. You might even be able to help if you know that you have like Sean Day of the Daily Press who may cover here fairly frequently. Pretend you're a reporter. When I went to J school, journalism school, the 5 W's and the H. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Okay. Who's going to be interviewed beside you? Where is this going to appear? Why do they want to talk to you? Hopefully they want to talk to you because you're the expert. How is this going to appear? Who else might be interviewed? And of course, it's always nice to know when it's going to appear so you can either alert your boss that, uh-oh, it's coming, or alert your boss that, yay, it's coming, and we're going to get something great out of this. Or also so you can tell your family and friends. And never go off the record. I know there are lots of people, if you have a trusted reporter that you've dealt with lots before, and this person has actually kept off the record, that's fine. But I would say never go off the record. Nothing is off the record because, unfortunately, in fact, this picture that's a reporter in Denver. I was flying with our 757, that's one of our pilots, and they did a live shot on board our aircraft a couple of years ago. So, how can you prepare? Think up 3 messages. What are the 3 things you want to get across? Okay, let's say you have 15 seconds on the local news tonight. What do you want people to know about Thomas Nelson Community College? Well, that's a good brief soundbite too. But you also want to say Thomas Nelson Community College is a good value. Instead of it's a good value. Okay, if you had 6 seconds on the news tonight, what do you want people to know about Thomas Nelson?
It's a very friendly college that does do.
These are great sound bites. These are the sorts of things you want to prepare. But what if they come to you and they say, how come my kid's getting a lousy education? That's what you want to prepare for. And the first thing you don't do is you don't say, your kid's not getting a lousy education, because that's a buzzword. Lousy is nothing you want to repeat, and I'll go over that in just a second. So prepare 3 messages. I always tell my guys when we do media training with them, the first thing I always want in the back, because they're researchers and they think, I want to tell people about my piece, my widget is the perfect widget to go here. And I say, no, underlying each message that I tell them, NASA is good. And in your case, Thomas Nelson Community College is good. Keep that in the back of your mind at all times. And so prepare 3 things. Anticipate reporters' questions. We have this thing, especially if you have something that's a little bit controversial. We have the dirty questions. And the first one you always want with every reporter is, they're always going to ask for whatever reason, how much does it cost? So always figure out how much it's going to cost, because they're always going to ask, because that's just the way they think. So anticipate reporters' questions and prepare answers for those questions. Rehearse the interview. And even if this is like, you get a call at 10 and they're coming at 11, and even though you're in the middle of 6,000 other things, drop everything, because it's really going to help. And a lot of times you can prepare this stuff in advance. If you already know that if you're like one of the Thomas Nelson Community College experts, and they're going to come to you frequently, prepare it in advance. Eliminate jargon. That's that education speak thing again. And if you think you have jargon, try working with a few researchers, for pity's sake. Aerospace engineers, we have so much jargon. Prepare for the tough questions and the easy questions. The tough ones actually frequently are fairly, you know they're going to happen. But the easy questions, like last week I did an interview with LaSalle Blanks on Channel 13 about our open house. LaSalle asked me, I had prepared, okay, we're going to have this number of buildings open, and we're going to do this. And LaSalle asked me, so what do you hope to accomplish with the open house? I hadn't really, obviously I want people to come, I wanted people to know that NASA's good, but I hadn't really given that a whole lot of thought, necessarily. So I gave what I thought was a fairly good answer, and then LaSalle, thankfully, because it wasn't any kind of adversarial, and you want to inspire kids to, yes, we'd love to inspire kids and try to help encourage them to go into the STEM, as Denise would say, science, technology, engineering, and math. So, thankfully he gave me, I said we like to have, excite people about space, have them interested so that more people can explore, but he helped me a lot. So I hadn't prepared that. What do you hope to accomplish with the open house? I hope it's over. That's what I'm thinking. I hope by Saturday some people have shown up and it will justify my existence. No, this is not the answer you want to give me. All right, looking and sounding the part. As we say, this is partially a television thing, and it is true. It's all in the body language. Okay, now we have some statistics for you all. What do you anticipate? What do you think the split is on words versus vocal tone versus body language in studies? How much attention do you think they pay to words?
Probably about 30% of the words. How do you look on the camera and your posture and confidence in what you're speaking?
30%. You're an optimistic woman. 7% they pay attention to your actual words. 38% your vocal tone. 55% your body language. So you want to look relaxed, you want to look comfortable, and that's why you've done all that stuff in my previous slide. You've prepared. So, it's all in the body language. So, rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Keep eye contact and posture. That's a great thing to do. But, there are some tricks with television I'm not going to try to get you to do because there's some things that it's a learned skill. But definitely, keep eye contact. Look at the reporter when the reporter is talking to you. Be strong, be upright, dress appropriately. Now, when I was coming to see you all today, I said, okay, what am I going to wear today? Do I wear this business suit? And I said, no, I'm going to be the approachable, the semi-approachable. But you do want to wear solid colors usually. And I always violated the rule on flashy jewelry. That was kind of my signature. So I would always wear a pin and make people in the studio crazy. I love doing that. Solid colors, medium tone, not a lot of black, because black can wash it out. If you're going to wear a white shirt, always have a coat over it because a lot of times it'll bloom with cameras. They used to say no red, but red isn't so bad anymore. The one thing you're going to have a real problem with, and Bob had a problem in Bob Newhart, is that like herringbone, tweedy things, they travel. And especially guys' ties sometimes will know, so they'll kind of travel. So solid color, suit versus a team shirt. A lot of times with my guys, I say, they say, should I wear a tie? I said, well, it depends on what the interview's about. In most instances, I'm sure Dr. Taylor's probably going to wear a suit and a tie because he is representing Thomas Nelson Community College as the president. But if you're a scientist or a lab rat kind of guy, I a lot of times tell my guys, okay, the NASA polo shirt's a good thing to wear. But if you're an administrator, you're probably going to want to go with at least a tie, women, jacket, sort of thing. Minimal accessories. Makeup, if you go to a studio and they volunteer makeup, take it. You don't want that whole Richard Nixon pasty face thing going on. So go ahead and do makeup. But keep it, if you're a woman, keep it, natural. Don't need to make it look like. Also, stay on those 3 messages that you prepared earlier. Bring back to them. Come back to them. Smile. Be pleasant. This is fun, right? Come on, it's fun. It's your time to shine. And it's your time to tell everybody why Thomas Nelson is such a great place to work. and to come to school. And relax and enjoy. That's the main thing. Try to relax and enjoy. Even though I gotta tell you, didn't matter how many years I was on television, I was probably nervous before every appearance. But you do get used to it. But of course, not all media are alike. You can see there are a couple of photographers in the background. This is one of our clean rooms at the Langley. If you're doing a radio interview by phone or in the studio, a lot of times it's good to stand up because you get higher energy that way. Like if I were sitting down, I wouldn't be very energetic, right? Probably not me, but other people. So it's all in the voice with radio. And I talk a little fast, so I actually have to slow myself down a little bit on occasions. Stay brief and on message. And the good thing with radio, you can use notes because nobody knows what you're looking at. Just try not to read them. That sounds a little canned. Print, I got to tell you as a former television journalist, print scares me more than TV, by far. Because with print, you never know how fast they're writing. You know, with TV, what I say is what I get, and I gotta stick and live by it. But in print, among other things, it's gonna be there forever. Because you can Google anything I've said over the last, 10 years almost, and you can easily get misquoted or taken out of context. That's a little harder with television. But, so you can use anecdotes, expect to spend more time because newspaper reporters, they ask the most insane, arcane questions in my estimation. But TV reporters are always a little rude because they always want to come in and get out within 10 minutes. And they'll usually take you outside because they don't want alcohol license. But provide good supporting information. And of course, these days, a good visual still for, and as I say, the story will be with you forever. Okay, now we've got the gotcha journalism. That's where I come up and, like Mike Wallace and I ambush you. Now this is actually a real life, this is Bruce Holmes, who's recently retired. 60 Minutes calls me and says, we want to come to Nassau Langley. I'm like, oh yeah, I love it, 60 Minutes. At least it wasn't Mike Wallace, it was Bob Simon. They wanted to do something on flying cars and small aircraft transportation. Well, Bruce is an international expert on this. He's a great interview. And he was willing to do it because there aren't a whole lot of my researchers who would be saying, oh yeah, let's do 60 Minutes. So, but we noticed there's an increase in news. And we're talking the 24-hour news cycle. There's the competition, get in, get out, do it quickly. And also, there's just an increase in the web. How many of you now know what the word macaca means that you didn't know? Think of George Allen, if you're thinking about how the web is not pervasive. George Allen lost an entire, he lost a Senate seat because of the web, pretty much. So, and now you can Google search anything, and there are blogs and there are anti-sites. So, it's just gotten that much more competitive. So, bottom line is and with the reality television boom, reality does fight. And there's a lot more judgmental journalism. The Center for Media and Public Affairs says that within, I'm having to read this one because it's something new. News about government has gone down from 1981 to 2001 by 31% on TV. Nationally, 12% in newspapers, 39% for local newspapers. And the increase in judgmental journalism, about a 20% increase in judgmental journalism, you've heard it, Fox News, other things, and 138% has gone up in television. So what can you do if somebody's coming to ambush you? Well, first of all, if somebody's ambushing you, you don't have to play. You can say, I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't have time for you right at the moment. I'd be happy to set up an appointment. Please call Cecilia and Maritza and Belinda. And that's hard to do a lot of times because your natural inclination is to want to, somebody sticks a microphone in your mouth, is to say something. But you can say, I'm sorry. You can also, so that's being active, proactive and trying to gain control of the situation. Avoid the negative buzzwords, the whole thing, the lousy education. Don't repeat, there's a toxic waste dump here at TNCC. Well, I wouldn't say there's a toxic waste dump here at TNCC. Well, don't repeat that. Just say, we have a very safe campus, or whatever. Refocus, redirect. Try to, if they're keep badgering you, try to go redirect them to what your message is. Remember, you've prepared those 3 messages, so you know them and you own them. As prepare, prepare, prepare. Follow up with an email and fax if you think there's something that they're confused about. Or if there's something that you didn't say in your interview that you want to make sure that they say, never say no comment. Now, how can you get around without saying no comment? There's always the, I'm sorry, I don't know that. I'll be happy to try to check into it and get back to you. I'm sorry, I'm not able to talk about that. I don't have that information. I don't have information about that. Because you're not going to know information about everything at this college. No one can expect that. But then say, we'll see if Cecilia and Maritza can help you find that information. So there are ways to say, that's all the detail I can go into right now. That one's, I think, a little sketchy. Hopefully, I don't know, and that's not my area of expertise. I'd be happy to try to find you somebody who would work better. And of course, the tell the truth. Don't lie. Now, sometimes, of course, you're going to have issues, and it's going to be difficult, And there's a whole science of risk communication, and this is just a little part of it, where concern is high and trust is low. Say you're in the EPA and they're building a dump next door to a school or something. So how do you go as the EPA public affairs person or the EPA administrator? How do you? Well, obviously within that situation, the EPA administrator is not looked on with an excessively large amount of credibility. And you have, of course, credibility, even though these are presidents. And how many of you remember Richard Nixon? I am not a crook. I did not have sex with that woman. These are things that, even though those were people in high credibility positions, those were some definite challenges that they faced. So, when communicating about risk in a high concern, low trust situation, usually, of course, it's Dr. Taylor who's going to do this in all probability, or somebody high up at Thomas Nelson, but they might call on you too. So the challenge is to establish that credibility. So sometimes you just pass the buck to Dr. Taylor, because he's getting paid the big bucks. But, of course, the bottom line is perception equals reality. We used to say that in the newsroom all the time. But in this instance, it's, if people perceive that you're lying, you're going to be lying in their mind, even if it's not true. So, yeah, the relaxation, the enjoying the interview, looking credible, that can make all the difference. And who do you think looks more credible versus men or women? Okay? Women? Well, women have a lot of the pluses in the world of credibility. They're open, they're perceived as open, honest, caring, but how many of them are perceived as professional? That's where men have, because of the years of men in high positions, men have that. But you will see, and if you watch the news carefully, you will notice in some instances they send women out for specific, these are targeted. Like sometimes I know that Mike Griffin, our administrator at NASA, great guy, smart guy, not real warm and fuzzy though. Really smart engineer, but he's kind of brusque. That's just his personality. Well, Shanna Dale is his second in command. Shanna was the one who did all the stuff about Lisa Nowak, the astronaut who was went across the country and is charged with whatever she's charged with. There's so many charges I've forgotten. Shanna did the drunk astronauts when that happened. So that's one of the things that they'll send out somebody, a woman, in some instances to do some sort. And of course, because we work at NASA, nothing would be complete without a few equations. In this instance, facts do not equal emotions. Don't try, if you've got somebody who crying, you're at a public meeting or whatever, and there's a parent who says, my daughter came here, and blah, blah, blah. Don't try to say, well, but we gave her an education. Say, I'm really sorry. We appreciate that your daughter was, don't try to fight emotions with facts. They don't equal. Especially in a low trust, high concern situation. One negative has the power of 3 positives. So remember when Bob was saying, no, that's not no. That would be, he'd have to have 3 positives to, actually in that case he'd have to have like 9 positives to negate those 3 negatives. And then your goal is to build trust and credibility. And of course, jargon, as we've talked about, jargon, like in this case, CAVE, for us at NASA, that's the Columbia Accident Investigation Board, and other things. Jargon is just not very good. Technical terms, our guys talk about Reynolds numbers all the time, and it's a parameter that has to do with viscosity, and that's all I know because I'm like, oh, never use Reynolds numbers, never, ever, ever. Because reporters, if they had any bent in the math and sciences, would have gone to do that. But most journalists have no skills in math and science, and I can say that with almost equivocal. So, you build that credibility, partly through your dealings in the community, of course. So you have openness, honesty, consistency, promptness, and courtesy. The way you want to be treated, and the way you hope that others treat you. And it's true of reporters as well, for the community. So, the other thing you want to make sure you do before you get to the crisis is that you have a crisis management team in place. It happens at NASA Langley. We do have a pretty good crisis plan in place. We have a set of, everything set out on who's supposed to be notified about what. Not long ago, I was called at home, and so was Mike, and so was our big boss, about there was an alarm that went off in a building that housed a very important artifact. So they called me on Saturday, and just, nothing happened to the artifact, but I was alerted very quickly. And so that's one of those things that we've done over the years. And so you develop a plan, you then practice that plan. You might have a drill where something happens on campus. Say it's like the recent sickness, the hysterical sickness in one of your classroom buildings. Practice that so that the next time you'll know what to do when it happens. And then apply that code of credibility to your actions. Be prompt, be courteous, be honest, be open, as much as you can. And obviously we know there are certain laws that you all have to follow. And your public relations people and your lawyers will help you, because I know there are open meetings laws that you all must follow, and other kinds of laws that as a state body. The same thing with us is, we have slightly different laws that NASA has to follow, but you all have some laws that must be followed. So what's in it for you? What's the reward for you? Well, there's the goodness. You can build your reputation, you can increase your funding, perhaps, you can get more students, you can foster community support, and of course, you can feel better about working at this great institution. Or, now, Mike chose this particular picture, so I'm not sure exactly why Mike did, but you can hurt your institution, you can damage your reputation, it could hurt your funding, you could feel bad. And here's the one that I always tell my guys when they say, well, Kathy, I just did an interview, they didn't tell me about it ahead of time. I say, well, I hope you didn't limit your career. That's what I usually tell them, just try not to say anything that's career limiting. Yeah? And they're usually, guys are pretty good. So here's the bottom line. And this is Miles O'Brien. He came from CNN a few years ago. We happened to be studying the Flight 587, which was the tail that fell off of American Airlines accident over Long Island. So Miles came to NASA Langley and do a lot of live shots. So respond quickly, be open, honest, and accessible, give simple, positive messages, do more than expected, because that really is a lot of times, I'll call, like on Saturday at the open house. I figured all the reporters would want to know how many people did we have. So obviously when they all left, we didn't know how many people we had. So I called, rather than having them make them call me, I called all of them and said, okay, we had about 24,000 people who came through. And so I was just about to call you. And I said, well, I figured you were. So I called them and also used common sense. But the bottom line in all instances is work with your public relations office. They're the hired professionals. They're the ones who know how to work with the media. They're the ones who have the contacts. But respond to them quickly. That's the bottom line. My guys, and I would go track my guys down. If there's a reporter on deadline, if they're not answering their phone, they're not answering their email, I get out of my office and I go to their office. Or I go to the next person's office. So, but it really will make their jobs easier and your college even more visible in this community. Because we all know you do a great job of educating students, but not necessarily. You all know it, and I know it because I've been in this community for a long time, but everybody out there may not know it. So I encourage you to work with Cecilia and Maritza and Belinda and anybody else and Cindy in the office. And any questions? Oh, come on, you got a few questions. why did I give my kid a lousy education? I would have said something to the effect, Thomas Nelson Community College is known as one of the best colleges and community colleges in the state of Virginia. And we can back that up with this, and this. I don't happen to know what this, and this is because I don't work here. But, you know, we have graduated 6 presidents or whatever the case may be. So that would have been, but just don't repeat the nasty buzzword. Yeah, sometimes you have to look at this as a skill. It's not always, you know, and you can't, because my researchers sometimes are like, they don't want to be dishonest. I'm like, it's not dishonest not to repeat the question. It's just a way of thinking. You know, and it's not even spinning. It's just a way, because I can sit there and be as negative as the next guy, because I'm a human being just like anybody else. But it's like, I don't know recently if you saw a story that in the Daily Press, which I was very happy about, because this was the open house, as you might have guessed, happened to be my responsibility, getting publicity out for it. So there was this story, which NASA Langley turns 90, front page of the Daily Press, which is always a good position. Front page above the fold, although I would have liked it if they had a nice, pretty picture on the outside. And then one of my guys, who I did not actually, that particular day, usually we sit with and do interviews with my guys, and I'm like, well, Patrick Lynch is a pretty good reporter. We've dealt with him a pretty long time. So I just said, call Mark directly. And Mark Froome is one of our researchers, and he said, you know, sometimes you get so bogged down with the day-to-day grind. And seeing some of the amazing things Langley's been involved in, it brings you back to what it's all about. It's a very neat place to work. Because you do get, you know, to that concept of where, you know, TNCC, you're involved in the day-to-day grind, but it is a great place to work. It's a great place to educate students. It's a great springboard for many people in our community. They started at TNCC, and you know, that's the other thing, that you can also have Cecilia prepare messages for you. Yeah. How many people here, you know, how many people in this community may have started at TNCC? Maybe Ross Carney, the mayor, or anybody else. You know, a list. I mean, I can sit there with NASA Langley and say, okay, in our 90-year history, we're celebrating our 90th anniversary this year, you know, people like Charles Lindbergh, Amelia Earhart, Orville Wright have come through. We helped Neil Armstrong learn to land on the moon. I mean, what's cooler than that? And we have Leland Melvin, who is one of our recent engineers, will be going up in the space shuttle this December. Last summer, when we had the return to flight, Charlie Camarda, who was one of NASA Langley's engineers, and Steve Robinson, both of them, they came through NASA Langley. They worked there for a very long time. So, and you have people here at TNCC who have the same kind of impact. You know, people who are a great part of your community, because you guys have educated a lot of people. My husband at one point taught here as an adjunct professor many years ago. You've had a lot of people. So those are the sorts of things that you can keep in mind, too, when you're talking to people. Anybody else? See, now normally we do a whole day-long media training with a lot of our researchers, because we make them go. We start with an ambush interview. First thing in the morning, we'll have, you know, the guys will come over and go like this, and they'll usually ask stuff like, "What's your name?" Chief Perry. Okay. What do you do here, Chief? And what does that mean? What sorts of things does the chief of police do here?
Ensure the safety of all the community members.
See, that's the sort of thing. But the one thing that Chief Perry, I would suggest you do, try to make a complete sentence if you can, because that's the one they want a complete sentence. I'm Chief Perry. I'm the chief of police at TNCC, and the police department here tries to ensure the safety of all students and faculty, or whatever. The one thing how many of you have been watching television news for any length of time? Obviously, a few of you have. Okay. 1968. Any idea how long the longest interview cut was, or the average interview cut on television? This was back when it was filmed, so we didn't have a lot of pictures then. It does predate me, shockingly enough. 42 seconds long. No one has 42-second sound bites anymore. When I came to television in 77, about 20 to 25 seconds. And that's a mighty long sound bite. Then in the 80s and 90s, it got to be about 12 seconds. Then, starting when I was leaving, 6 to 7 seconds was an average sound bite. Now they say 4 seconds. What can you say in 4 seconds? Practice it, and you don't want to do speed talking about it. So you want to have a pithy sound bite, something written that you can say in 4 seconds. And you'll notice that as you go around and watch the news, now not only is government rarely represented, and often they don't. In fact, Channel 3 for a number of years in the 90s, they wouldn't allow their reporters to talk to a government official. It was their news policy not to talk to a government official. They had to talk to only real people. And I'm like going, okay now, because I used to do these man on the street things sometimes, and I had to ask them about some law once, and I had to spend 5 minutes because it was a law they'd never heard of. But I'm like, I have to get real people talking about this particular law. So it's harder than ever for Cecilia, Maritza, and Belinda to get you all in the news. And when they do get you in the news, capitalize on it. You know, do it quickly, because it's you know, I mean, how many of you all know more about Paris Hilton than you ever wanted to know? How many people in this country can name all 9 Supreme Court justices? Not very many, but you can probably ask a zillion kids on the street on Paris Hilton's dog, at least one of them, and they can tell you. It's a terrible thing that unfortunately the media is partly to blame, but we're all partly to blame. That we don't turn it off. And we keep buying it. You know, if we don't buy People magazine or whatever else, and actually People, of all those publications, People is at least a little more above board than some. If we didn't buy it, they wouldn't sell it to us. And the media has tried so hard to try to get more sensational and more sensational and more sensational that it's really difficult now to find the sorts of things. And that's one of the reasons I left, was that I didn't like the way it was going. And it's a lot easier for me to be at Nassau Island, where I know I have pretty good stories most of the time.
Any more questions? Okay, thank you so much, Kathy. I know you're just busy at work. And, we pass along the media relations policy and procedure. Please, your office review them and just feedback again. Thank you so much, Kathy.
I have a little 10 top 10 do's and don'ts for acing a TV interview. Sure. And and I did it on yellow for a reason, you know, yellow journalism. And I also have, as I say, stress relievers for all of you. I was going to throw them at people, but I thought that was good.
We're going to take a quick 10-minute break, but as she's going, one of the key things that I want to emphasize and make certain everybody realizes why we had it at this particular time. As you know, we've gone through some media inquiries over the last couple of weeks, in the last 4 weeks, and some people were saying, well, with the media calls, who should I contact? And so on this green sheet here, it has an actual breakdown of things you should do. Media calls, say, let me get back to you right away to make certain that you get back to public relations. And I'll just give one example. It's like when an event happens here on campus, it sometimes took a couple of days before public relations was even notified that an event took place on campus. And so we need to make certain that there's that link. Because again, they're the contact person. Now I'm going to add this one little thing, and she's not going to go back on that commitment. Is that if she'd asked me, if someone came to me and said, you know, my daughter had a lousy education, you know what I would have said? Next semester, make certain she enrolls at Thomas Nelson Community College. That's it. Take a quick 10-minute break. Be back exactly at 3 so we can start and end soon. If you need to go outside and get fresh air, wake yourself up again, but try to be back exactly at 3, because we're starting exactly at 3. Thank you.